Ninja and Flannel. Today we got something pretty interesting. Now this is the Extar EP9 9mm PCC. We shot these out at GunCon and I was very impressed with their performance and stuff like that. So I reached out to them and asked them if they wanted to send one out for us to do a little review and show you guys. So here we go. I just took this out of the box. I oiled it a little bit, set it up. We'll get into what I did for a build here to start out later on. But we're just gonna put our first rounds through. Now, I do work like 50 to 80 hours a week, so I don't always have time to get to the actual gun range for a video, stuff like that. So I'm shooting in my own little private range here. So to be more discreet, I'm shooting some subsonic ammo to start out. So we'll see how it cycles and stuff like that. And keep that in mind as far as liability goes, that we are shooting subs only with a suppressor. We'll do a full review later on. But just want to get kind of the first shots and see how it goes. All right, got my mag in, side charging. Let's see how she fires. Oop. Now that, my friend, is pretty discreet for my private range. Not too shabby. So if you notice, I didn't even put ear pro in. I'm used to using this suppressor. This is my JK Armament PCX. I'm used to using that one, and then these are subsonic, so they're definitely hearing safe. I used to have a cat. It would stand next to me. If you were shooting at something, it wouldn't even jump. So it's very quiet. So that's why I'm not wearing ear pro, but eye pro, always necessary. So some of the details about this. So it's a 9mm PCC, 6.5-inch barrel, which ends just shy of the end of the handguard. It's very nice. If you look, your suppressor actually goes under your handguard a little bit there. The weight is only 4 pounds, which is very lightweight. Now, something that's interesting, they have some kind of patented buffer system in here. Haven't dug into it too much. I believe it's some kind of like pneumatic or hydraulic, something very interesting in the back. I haven't dug too deep, but it does make the recoil very soft. It kind of gives you that same soft feel as you just saw with me shooting of a roller delay, something like an MP5, Strybog, Kuna, Matador arms, stuff like that. Something digging into more of the details, it does use AR safeties, grips, and trigger groups, which is clutch. Looking at the bolt interface, I could totally see it working with an FRT or super safety. I haven't tried it yet. Probably gonna tinker tonight and we'll put that out in the full video. Looking at the build, everything I can see on as far as the uppers and lowers, all seems to be polymer. Now, inside, I kind of thought maybe it was kind of a steel chassis, but I think it is just polymer, which is pretty impressive. I wanna see how long it goes and to see if it gets heated up and if it deforms or anything like that. I haven't heard of it happening, and there's a lot of really good data from Extar about this. From what I understand, they took one of these and they put 10,000 rounds through it without any cleaning or anything, and it did not start jamming or having issues till post 10,000 rounds, which is pretty impressive. Now, I didn't do that, but that is the test from them that that I talked to them about a little bit. A little side note is that I am designing and prototyping these tactical flannel shirts, kind of the combat shirts. This is kind of a crappier prototype. It's actually made with flannel material, which is kind of hot. But it is vented on the sides. There's pouches, pockets, slots for elbow pads, stuff like that. We have a nicer version coming soon, a lot nicer, better pattern than this, and very high quality materials. Those will be available on my email list through my website. So link in the description where you can check those out if you are interested in picking up one of these. Looking into what I did for my setup here, if you're interested, I did an Aimwin Red Dot, which is a company I met at SHOT Show, and then I'm doing a Nightstick weapon light, which is very impressive so far. However, the tail caps are proprietary, so you can't really use it very easily with a dual switch or anything like that, but it's got a very good illumination on it. And then, like I said before, the JK Armament suppressor, and everything else is basically stock on it. So this is kind of what you get and out of the box. Now into the controls, everything over here is AR style, mag release and stuff. What is different is your charge handle is on the side. Now, if you look at it, it's not far forward like the Strybog, Mat9, and Kuna. Why that matters is, well, usually it doesn't matter because you can use that as a little gas pedal for your thumb. But when you start getting into aiming lasers and stuff like that, you'll have it where like a D-ball, for example, will hang over, gets in the way of your charge handle, and you can't charge your weapon. So what's nice about having it in the rear of your handguard is that it is out of the way of all of your forward equipment. So your charge handle is way back here. So instead of being up here to rack it and bump it into your lasers, it's all the way in the rear. Now, what the problem you'll find with that is that sometimes if your optic mount is too wide, you kind of end up skimming your knuckles. I haven't found that with this particular setup, which is I think this is a Midwest Industries optic mount, but that's something to keep in mind. But generally, I like rear charge handle. So with enough talking there, let's pop a few more rounds and see if we run into any issues, then we'll talk about how the feed ramp and the site and the kind of function on the inside works. Another side note, these are rattlesnake tactical mags. I got these from Ammunition Depot. They are extremely affordable. So yeah, you're gonna wanna look at that. They're Glock mags, little modification to work with certain PCCs for locking back. They're missing a little notch from factory Glock mags. So let's just pop a few more rounds, see how she shoots, really focus on that recoil impulse. Another little plug here is that make sure you check out the Second Amendment Foundation. They do a lot of work to help protect our rights and they support us. So I strongly believe that we should support them. This is not a paid ad by any means. I actually believe in them, support them myself. And there's a really good group of guys over there. So make sure you check them out. I will have a link in the description where you can kind of just find their site. I get nothing from that. That's just for free, but make sure you check out Second Amendment Foundation. That's really fun. It doesn't seem to move that much. This with a super safer FRT is just gonna be money. Pop this last round. Now, on the inside, if I can get this apart without a tool, which is likely, now that she's nice and hot. Heck yeah, pocket knife for the win. Now what's kind of interesting about this that I'm not used to is that your takedown pins, there's only one in the rear. So if you look here, if I can get it apart, you just have a little hook right here, and then this just snaps right into it, and then she goes down, and that's how it goes together. Very interesting. Now what I wanted to show you guys inside of here is that all you have for your feeding, there's actually no feed ramp, which I like because if you think about it, when stuff gets very filthy, the feed ramp is what starts to go and what generally causes your malfunctions to start. With this, all you've got is basically a chamber and it's kind of like a cone. So however that bullet gets popped up and starts going in, that pretty much does it. It just kind of gets it started on its path and everything falls into place. It's a nice thing that you don't have a prominent feed ramp to worry about getting mucked up and dirty. And I'm pretty impressed with it. Unlike some other PCCs I've showed in the past on the more budget side, your extractors and stuff like that are, they're pinned in place. Some of them are actually screwed and they're not loctated very well. So it seems like it's done pretty well on that front. I will say a lot of times Glock PCCs, they don't like to lock back. When we finish off that mag, you'll see that this does. The way they achieve that is awesome. What they have in here, they have a little double L, more of an S-shaped hook right here. If you can see it right about there. And that activates this lever on the outside right here. And all it does is when you hit that, it pops your bolt catch right here out, which is a very clever design because I know a lot of times AR9 style PCCs that use Glock mags have issues with locking back because even if you can get the Glock mag to hit a lever, a lot of times you lose a lot of leverage and you don't get enough force to lock it back. So I have a few rounds in here, I think about 10 or 11. We'll just kind of burst through them. Also, I'll note, all I did was do a little bit of oil on this when I got it. And so far with subsonics, it's running like a champ. So, you know, that's pretty sick. Man, it really does feed nice. All right, so we'll do about these rounds. We'll see if it locks back because this is my first shots. We'll see if she actually does lock back. Right there, locks back, mags drop free. Pretty cool. So this is just kind of a first shots video. Hope this is helpful. We will do a way deeper dive review in the future, but I was very excited about this. Didn't have time to make it to the range with my schedule, so I figure a little private range suppress session would be good. And I will note that using Glock mags is kind of nice. I don't even shoot Glocks really, but nice little bonus. So hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more stuff like this in the future. On a different note, this tactical flannel here, we'll be putting these on my website and email list soon, so make sure you check it out so you don't miss when these are become available. Farewell.